Hollywood, the place where stories come to life, where some dreams come true and others come to die, as was the case for Peg Entwistle, a Broadway actress who came to Hollywood in 1932 to pursue her career in film. But unfortunately, that all ended on September 16th, when Peg Entwistle climbed to the top of the letter H of the Hollywood sign and then jumped into the canyon below. Now, I can't say for sure that Peg Entwistle struggled with depression, but considering the fact that she committed suicide, I'm willing to bet she did. Depression is horrible. It's a monster that saps you of your energy and motivation, leaving you with feelings of vast emptiness, unworthiness, and negative thoughts that lead you to believe that nobody cares. But there are ways to fight it. First of all, humor. I watch silly videos, clips of my favorite comedians, and read comic strips. Doesn't matter if it's hokey, sarcastic, or dark humor, anything that can muster a feeling of laughter. And as they say, laughter is the best medicine. Change of scenery. If I can, I go for a walk in the mountains, a walk in the woods, or a walk around my neighborhood. However, I do not recommend going for a walk in your neighbor's backyard. Music. I recommend instrumental music. My preference is movie soundtracks, with my favorite being the Man of Steel soundtrack by Hans Zimmer. I find it to be very soothing, very uplifting, especially if I'm staring at white fluffy clouds in a big blue sky. Other activities that are helpful are exercise, painting, drawing, writing, putting a puzzle together, or cleaning your house. Anything that'll give you a feeling of accomplishment. Now, when Peg Entwistle committed suicide in 1932, it made the papers. But if she had committed suicide today, it would have been all over social media. And soon after, you would have seen a lot of people posting this message. Now, this is a nice message, but there's something about it that irks me, and that is, people don't include their phone number. Which from a negative standpoint, this message says, don't call me, call someone else. Granted, we can't always be there for each other all the time, and sometimes we have to fight battles alone. But it is helpful to be reassured and reminded that it's okay for us to call, especially if the person is feeling depressed, having suicidal thoughts, and thinks that nobody cares, and on top of that, feels like they're a burden. So right now I am standing at the top of the Hollywood sign just behind it. But if we were directly on top, this is the view you would see, which is pretty much the last view that Peg Entwistle ever saw of the world. In her final moments, I imagine that she may have felt scared, alone, abandoned, unloved, felt like she was a burden, and thought that her life was meaningless. But by the next part of our story, Peg Entwistle's life was anything but meaningless. As I said before, Peg Entwistle was a Broadway actress, and during her career she was in a production of The Wild Duck, in which she played a character named Hedwig. And during one of those performances, there was a young girl sitting in the audience who looked to her mother and said, "I want to be just like Peg Entwistle." And that young girl grew up to be one of Hollywood's biggest stars, Bette Davis. And just to add more to that story, during Bette Davis's career, she was also in a production of The Wild Duck, and the character she played was Hedwig. So on that note, Peg Entwistle's life was not meaningless.